What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today I want to do a fun mock draft for y'all. I've been kind of itching to try to do some of these weird trades, maybe making it a little bit spicy. But if you guys like this type of stuff, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, join the community because I'm posting like this all the time. And we're going to be getting into that 2023 draft stuff real soon. And of course, I do have a website up and I'm actually going to let you see a preview of it right now. Guys, feel free to check out my brand new website. It's been up for a minute, but I've just started posting back again. As you guys can see, I have a Trent McDuffie NFL draft profile right here, but it's been a lot more fun very recently because we've had a ton of new articles where you guys get to check out all of my scouting reports, and I have them called In a Nutshell because if you guys want to read it in just 3 minutes and you don't want to read a bunch of mumbo jumbo that both the writer and you don't fully understand, this is where you're going to go check it out. It tells you the good, the bad, the ugly, and you get to see all of this and much more because there's going to be so much coming soon. And even you get to see my grading positional groups. If you guys want to be up to date with any of this, you can, of course, subscribe to the email list. But of course, you can also follow me on Twitter because I have all of these pinned. So enjoy the video. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Hopefully you guys do get excited for that because a lot of great things are to come from it. Let's kick this mock draft off. So there will be trades and we're going to be trying to squeeze in some pretty hot ones because I'm going to think about maybe moving up into the top 7 with the Saints, maybe even number 5. We'll see what happens. Obviously, this is all a live mock draft. I'm not going to be doing this BS of like just waiting and trying to pick out everything perfectly because I like you guys to see my logic and you guys can point me out where I'm wrong. It makes me better as a mock drafter to produce better stuff for you guys. It's a cycle. Okay. So give me some good feedback. Don't be hating on the video. If you guys don't like it, tell me why, because hating doesn't do anything for me and it doesn't do anything for you. So let's kick this off. Number 1 overall pick. You guys might be seeing I'm using the PFF mock draft simulator. It actually takes into account trade value a lot better than TDN. So we're going to be testing this out. I already did a 2-hour mock draft that I totally trashed because I didn't like it, but that's for another day, another time. This one's going to be Aidan Hutchinson. It just makes sense at this point. He's pretty much locked in. And I mean, even Todd McShay, which of course you see him trading up with the Chargers, with the Chiefs to get Jameson Williams, not only always the most logical guy in the world, but Aidan Hutchinson still should be that number 1 overall pick. I love him to death. He graded out as my number 3 player in the class. And I mean, it's not much of a surprise. It really isn't. He is a phenomenal edge rusher. And people who are having some big knocks on him, I'm a little bit confused. He's one of the highest floor edge rushers in this class, and he still has an amazing ceiling. So people who are trying to trash Aidan Hutchinson, I mean, you got to watch the tape. So he's just dominant every single snap. There's a reason why he came back, recomped his body, and just absolutely dominated. Really damn good player. Should have won the Heisman. Number 2, this is continually the trickiest pick of the entire draft, and I am still waiting back to hear from my inside sources who are trying to probe the Detroit Lions right now to see what the hell is going to be going on what they're going to be doing. Like, is it going to be Malik Willis? I don't think so. I don't. But, I mean, there potentially is the chance, but there also are teams that might want to trade up. But we all know the pick number 2, I believe, is 2,600 in point value, which is ridiculous. Regardless, I still think that KT should be in this realm. The hate for him is real. That's confirmed from inside sources. But at the same time, is the hate enough to ignore the player? Like maybe notice the person. Like maybe it might knock the person, but the player is a big one. And, KT, again, he just might be a little bit more explicit with the idea of wanting to make sure that he gets his money. And with wide receivers getting $30 million a year, I'm not really sure if people pay attention to the fact that some people just don't have the need to say it out loud. Was it a smart decision by KT? No, but I still think he is arguably one of the best players in the class, and he graded out pretty damn well. I even looked at games while he was injured, and that's the only reason his grade was lower than what it should have been. Still a phenomenal edge rusher. I think that he should be this number 2 overall pick. People are saying it's Travon Walker. I have actually heard, and of course, nothing's confirmed until draft day, but Travon Walker is not being talked about inside the actual NFL community as a top 2 pick. It just doesn't, they're not on that board. So number 3, you got the Texans. I personally would be going Evan Neal all day, every day here. Ikem Ekwonu. So this is the worst thing about the PFF draft simulator. I have to move my camera every single time. Of course, it doesn't have me signed in, but that is A-okay. But number 3, I mean, it's really a battle between Ikem Ekwonu and Evan Neal. And Ikem is just such a monster. He is. But at the same time, I mean, Evan Neal just has that versatility to play that right tackle spot. It really is pick your own poison. I'm going to change it up a little bit and go Ikem Ekwonu or Ike Ekwonu at number 3 because they do want to rebuild that run game. Remember, you guys were number 32 in the league last year. Rex Burkhead, I believe, was your top rusher. That's not good. That is not good at all. So making sure that you have a monster in Ikem Ekwonu who could definitely help you out in that game. And I think his pass protection is very underrated. He's going to certainly be a major contributor on this roster. Now you have Laramie Tunsil restructured. So you have time to develop Ikem. That's the thing. No one expects you to win now. You're taking this for the long haul. And some people in the NFL community are even worried that Evan Neal might be a guard. That could definitely drop his stock to even pick 7. Or, well, I don't know if it's exactly going to be pick 7, but still, I think that that is a very plausible position to be in. So Ikem Ekwonu certainly in that realm. The New York Jets are on the clock, and I would love to go Evan Neal here. I just don't think they pull the trigger on it. I don't. You got guys like Sauce Gardner on the board. The real question is, what are you trying to address here? Offensive line or defensive line? And if it's offensive line, I mean, because again, Joe Douglas, offensive line dude, Robert Saleh, probably going to be focusing on the defensive line. You're going to definitely want to target somebody like Evan Neal if you really think that George Fant won't be there for forever. Again, I'm going to try to make this a little more realistic. For me, I'd be targeting Evan Neal 10 out of 10 times here. You guys know he's my number 2 player in the draft. We're not going to be doing that. I do think that the Travon Walker hype is real within the top 6. I do think that that is a legitimate option. And Travon Walker will probably be going in this range. And who better to go to than somebody like Robert Saleh, who has been great at developing edge rushers. So Travon Walker is going to be going in there. Lawson, I believe, is coming back from injury as well. You do have a very solidified front in that case, and you also don't need him to be a primary edge rusher 1 on a team that doesn't have very high expectations. Remember, this team definitely is looking to boost its game overall. I think Travon Walker offers that the most in the long run. Number 5, you got the Giants on the clock. And with 2 tackles here, I know that this pick 6, everybody knows it at this point. It's going to be a QB. So we are actually going to do a trade. And this one, call me crazy. And honestly, no, it's not Washington. Jeepers. Can you imagine that one? Yeah, that you could call me crazy on that one. Where's the New Orleans Saints? Where are they at? I'm bugging on them. And this is probably one of the worst things. Here we go. We got the New Orleans Saints here. They're going to be offering 16 and 19 to come up. Everybody's saying it at this point. They're just saying it. They're not interested in trading for this pick. That is some bullshit, straight up. We're going to force the trade, obviously. But looking at the value, it's about 1,000 and about 800 to move up to pick 5, which is, I think, 1,700 points. So again, it is about the price that you'd have to pay. Again, everybody says like with some extra tax on top. It makes sense because then the Giants, they don't exactly have one position that they need to address. And this will allow them now, because I do think, I hate it, guys. I'm going to be honest. I really think that the Saints should just go in and draft a tackle. I do. And I just don't think they're going to mortgage 3 first round. We're you know what? Screw it. We're going to put my own little twist into here. We're having the Giants take 16 and 19 for this pick 5. And you know what's going to happen? They are going to take Evan Neal out of Alabama because the New York Giants absolutely love Charles Cross. That is something that's very, very much known in the community. Could it be smoke? Maybe. I mean, I'd much rather have Evan Neal for the Giants, but at the same time, if you get 2 first-round picks as well and you still get your dude, that's going to be a good start. I am going to be going after Malik Willis here for the Panthers. They're going to just say, you know what, we're going to make the right decision. Yeah, we got to put my own twist into this. I could not stand doing that for y'all. But we're going to go offensive tackle here. Charles Cross to the Giants. Again, you have the opportunity. Okay, so Charles Cross has bugged out the system, but you have the opportunity to get another 2 first-round picks that's going to be a big plus to a team that is not going to be easily fixed by just two positions. Now you have your franchise tackle. And again, Andrew Thomas could also move to right tackle. There is that chance too. Charles Cross is probably the most pro ready. It's a weird thing to say because I love how Mel Kiper's like pro ready doesn't mean jack shit. He might have the best day one impact. He has a shit ton of pass reps and in the past 2 years, I think it's like 600. And he's going to be ready to just step in immediately and make a day one impact. The question is, will he be able to move to right tackle? I would have loved Evan Neal for that, but at the same time, you got to make sure that the Panthers don't get a tackle if Evan Neal is on the board. And the Giants are in love with Charles Cross. They're going to take Charles Cross. So Malik Willis goes number 6, Charles Cross number 7. We're just playing around with the idea of certain players here. And you got Sauce Gardner here at 8. And I think that a team should be trying to move up for Sauce Gardner because I could definitely see the Seahawks trying to nab him. And that team could be the Jets. It could be, but I don't see them going 2 defensive players. I don't. And I mean, I just know that the Falcons need so many things that, I never thought about this one. It's definitely a team that could definitely use a lot more than just one corner, but I haven't thought about the Vikings as a potential option for this trade up here. Like, are they even on the board right now? They aren't. So you got to love that one. So Minnesota Vikings are intrigued with this because it fits, right? So we think about this. Pick 8 is, I think, 1,400 points. Pick 12 is like, you think it's about like 100 down each. So we're probably going to need to get about 400 points to be able to move up here. That's approximately a second round pick, but we're going to be offering another third. And we're going to offer actually a next year third round pick to be able to move up to that range. It allows Atlanta to have more room to be able to bring in more wide receivers, and it gives them some future draft capital. We're going to be forcing this trade. We are not trading Felipe Franks. Okay, get out. We're going to be forcing the trade, and it's going to be going into, because I've seen a lot of these trades happen anyways in their simulator. So super annoying, but we're going to be going Sauce Gardner to the Vikings. So yeah, you lose 2 third-round picks, but at the same time, you gain somebody who's going to be a true commander of your defense, along with Patrick Peterson. Sign me up for that. So at this pick, you definitely still have a plethora of dudes on the board. You could have a team trying to move up ahead of the Jets in order to draft Garrett Wilson. That'd be a pretty spicy one, wouldn't it? Like, I could see the Eagles trying to move up here and just selecting Garrett Wilson and having the Seahawks trade back and be able to draft. I mean, Derek Stingley's going to be gone, though. They might just have to just pull the trigger on Derek Stingley. He ran a 4.44, but he said he didn't do it at full speed because he wanted to make sure his ankle was good. Derek Stingley is going to be the type of dude you want to bring to the Seahawks roster. Number 10, you got the Jets on the board. And at this point, you got to go wide receiver, right? You got to go Garrett Wilson. There's no doubt in my mind. You need a wide receiver, and Garrett Wilson is the best one in the class by a good margin. So that is where I am going to go. Kyle Hamilton's still on the on the board, but this is not going to be the pick that he goes. But I do definitely want to select him in a very short period of time. But, oh man, Kyle Hamilton could be such a good get for one of these teams. And the funny thing is, the 2 teams in the division of the Washington Commanders are the ones that would love to have him. I'm looking at other teams that could just be like, you know what? And look at that. There we go. The third team I would think about moving up with is also in that division. I mean, you can see the Steelers try to move up for him. That'd be intriguing, but I'm not going to be trading that much draft capital to move up for Kyle Hamilton. It's a weird idea, isn't it? It definitely is a tricky one. We could try to trade up here, but I think Washington needs to secure their wide receiver of the future. I don't know why everybody hates Drake London. I mean, he had one injury that kind of put him out, and he had a little bit of a tweaked hamstring because he's probably working his ass off. I don't know. Beats me. The Falcons are back on the board, and we are not going to allow Jameson Williams to continue slipping. He is going to go right here. Exactly what you're looking for to pair with Calvin Ridley. Yes, in a year's time. I don't know why people always think that if I talk about Calvin Ridley, that it means that they have to be right now. It doesn't. Calvin Ridley will probably be on the roster in a year, and Jameson Williams, Calvin Ridley, pretty damn good duo. Worst case scenario, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jameson Williams would be pretty damn nice as well. we'll get to that another time. With the Texans on the board. So we went Ike Ekwonu with the first pick. I don't think there's any debate on where we go with this one. Kyle Hamilton is going to be the dude you do take. I think that he's an absolute stud. For what people are trying to talk about him now, I'm in between where PFF and where guys like that franchise guy have him. He's certainly a damn good defender. You just have to use him properly. And I think in a cover 2 scheme, he'd be all right. You just don't want to put him with a bunch of cover zeros against speedsters. And that is perfectly fine. I think that the Texans might be the best spot for him too. Number 14, the Ravens are on the clock. And there are some dudes on the board who are just absolutely itching to be put on this roster. And I love all of them. Like George Karlaftis would be such a good get. I do think that given the issues at edge rusher, since you don't have Zadarius Smith, Karlaftis might be more of the pick. Jordan Davis is a little bit too tempting. Oh, that's a toughie. That's a tough one because I really do want to just pull the George Karlaftis move on this one. We're going to go George Karlaftis. He's a gritty player. He's used to being up north. And I just think that he's a slightly downgraded version of Aidan Hutchinson. The people who say he's not explosive did not look at his testing numbers. And does he have that ankle flexion for edge bend? Maybe not. But I do know that a team like the Ravens could probably maximize the potential of a talent like George Karlaftis. The Eagles sitting here, I don't think you can pass on Jordan Davis. DB as well as linebacker are two positions I would certainly target, but Jordan Davis is just too much of a freak, right? You could talk about Devante Wyatt, who should not be ranked that highly, but Jordan Davis would just be such a monster on this squad. And I would not want him to potentially even go to the Giants. Like, again, I would love to be able to nab more of a day one ready pass rusher. Like, where is he at? Where is he? Where's my boy, Jermaine Johnson here? But not going to be the case. But it will be the case here. I think that you don't want potentially Jermaine Johnson to go to the Eagles. So they're going to nab him right there. Boom. Got it done. With the Chargers on the clock. So tackle, I don't think is going to be the exact position you need. There is some idea that Matt Filer is going to be moving the tackle and you could go after more of an interior dude. That'd be intriguing. I would be down for that. But at the same time, there are some really good wide receivers on the board. And Chris Olave is kind of exactly what you'd be looking for a wide receiver 3. You could look at linebacker as well. That is a sneaky position to address here. But it's a very deep linebacker class. You don't have a second round pick. You need to make sure that you have everything in place for a Super Bowl run. Offensive line is usually where I go, except for at 17. Number 18, the Eagles are on the board. And I mean, at this point, I honestly would just trade back to be able to draft someone like Booth or McDuffie later on. I think that's kind of a smart move. Or you can draft someone else as well. At this point, does anybody need a center? I don't think so. I don't think anybody's going to be dying to come up for Tyler Linderbaum. But at the same time, the Eagles should be trading back because some receivers will also be popping off the board. You do have some quarterbacks as well. I don't think any team is going to be that desperate to move up for a QB, but there are some really good players on the board, like Treylon Burks that is being slept on. And I think the Eagles could be getting extra draft capital from a team that has 12 picks and will not be using all 12. That team is the Kansas City Chiefs. And I know that we can move back and potentially select David Ojabo. So I think that would be a good option. I have no idea why the Chiefs would not be interested in this pick. So we're going to be offering 29. So 18 is about, like, when you look at the value of it, 18 is like 850, maybe 900. And 29 is like around that like 600 or 650, 700 territory. So you do definitely need to make up that gap with at least something of value. And I know Howie is looking to acquire future draft capital. So I'm checking. Interesting. I don't know why it would say next year's second would be adequate for this one. Actually, no, that is a pretty large jump. When you do look at the trade value, this is closer to the 600 mark. This is closer to the 900. You do need that 300 gap, and that round 2 would certainly, I am just so confused why it would be that much of a discrepancy, but that is a-okay. I think that with the Chiefs wanting to be able to move up, they're going to be having to give up some draft capital, and that is going to be what it requires. We're going to force this trade. 65% chance to me seems to make sense. Around 2 next year, 29 and 103 for pick 18. So the Chiefs move up here. They do need to get a wide receiver to remain competitive. They could also go after Trevor Penning to be a right tackle, but they're actually going to move up and go away from a potential Super Bowl contender right here to get Treylon Burks out of Arkansas. Does it make exact sense? No. Like, you already have Juju Smith-Schuster there, but if you want to get larger, and Treylon Burks has, like, he does have that speed. He's ridiculous downfield. He just takes a while to get up to that top speed. His top speed can rival almost anybody in the class. Just watch him versus Alabama. I think this could be a really nasty dude to get the ball in his hands. You're looking for dudes after the catch. This is the best one, arguably, in the class that is still available. So Treylon Burks at this point, you just have to make sure that a team like the Patriots or the Packers do not acquire him. So making sure that it's going to be a good move for your roster. Number 19, the New York Giants are on the board, and it's really down to Linderbaum and Kyer Elam here, because I do know there's a lot of pressure put on those man corners in the Wink Martindale system. I think that you could even trade back again and acquire future picks. But for the sake of it, because I do know the Patriots would be nabbing Kyer Elam in a heartbeat, we are going to take him right there. Steelers on the board. I think that you should be trading back here, because I think a quarterback is definitely in the mix, but you don't have to rush that quarterback selection. And there are teams that do want to come up for some high-end players. Trent McDuffie's still on the board. So a team like the Buffalo Bills could certainly want to jump some certain teams that might want to draft Trent McDuffie. I mean, hell, even the Patriots might just say, screw it. We know that we can make Trent McDuffie into a stud. So I think the Bills could be interested in this pick. Let's see if they actually are. And they are not. I love that. Isn't that freaking amazing? But the Detroit Lions are interested in it. You can definitely look at them in case that somebody else were on the board. I don't know why the Chiefs would now be interested in trading up again. That doesn't make sense. But I would be looking to be able to move back here. You do have some really good tackle talents on the board. You got Trevor Penning, you got Bernard Ryman. So a team even like the Dallas Cowboys could be intrigued with moving up and selecting one of those dudes. I'm not on that road yet. I'm not on that train. Tyler Linderbaum, again, should be probably going in this range. There's just no team that's like that desperate. There is one, though. There is one. That team's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah, we're going to make sure that Jacksonville can trade up here. And they're going to be offering pick 31. They say they're not interested. They can kiss my ass. Honestly, I don't care. But this pick is, I think, like 550 points versus like 800. So we have to make it up with something. And the Steelers still could definitely use maybe a 3rd round pick. And that is a little bit still too little to be able to accept that, right? So we are going to be asking for a 4th rounder in the following year, and we are going to force that trade. So the Jacksonville Jaguars trade pretty much a late 1st along with a 3rd and a next year 4th to move up a good margin. Could you say that the pick required by the Kansas City Chiefs were the same? Yeah, but they pretty much traded a 3rd round pick. So, you know, the trade value is a little bit similar in my opinion. Still, we're looking at it. Tyler Linderbaum, they need an offensive center like nobody's business. Also, the Patriots could be one of those teams that could be in that hunt. So yeah, you definitely need it. Linder is not in the situation that you would hope for him to be, which is on the team. He's not even there anymore. So Tyler Linderbaum would be the best guy to bring in for Brandon Litter. So 21, you got the Patriots on the board, and wide receiver, corner, edge, linebacker, all that is, I mean, we need help. We need help, guys. We do. And I think that linebacker probably would be the best move. Devin Lloyd or Leo Chanel could be the option here. I'm starting to get back on board with the Devin Lloyd. You know, he has one hell of a work ethic and just fits the Patriots like a glove. So we're going to be going Devin Lloyd there. 22 with the Packers. Probably should have tried to trade up with them. Did not. You still have some really good targets on the board. So I might even wait till the next pick for Christian Watson. It just seems to make sense for them. I do know that offensive line is still a position of need. Aaron Rodgers is in control of this draft. Zion Johnson should be the pick here. He's going to be going this one or next. So you're going to go Zion Johnson because you're going to be moving Elton Jenkins to right tackle. People say that you're going to be wanting to just fill it with some younger dudes who you have on roster. If Aaron Rodgers is there, he's going to say, I need weapons and I need offensive line help. So get me Zion Johnson. He's somebody who's one hell of a work. He has one hell of a work ethic, one hell of a competitor. And we can definitely add another weapon at pick 28 because we also have 2 second-round picks. Number 23 with the Cardinals. So I know Kenyon Green is probably going to go this pick or next. I would definitely consider that. You do have some stud corners on the board, though, so I would also be considering that. Trent McDuffie doesn't fit this scheme. I know that they're a hybrid multiple. So to me, if I'm sitting here, I'm going to want to trade back and be able to acquire maybe one little tiny pick. So apparently the Packers and the Saints are the only teams wanting to move up right now. I don't know about that one, guys. I don't know. I'm going to be moving up a little bit with the Buffalo Bills. And again, this is a super small trade jump. And we are going to be offering, like, we're lacking one of those mid-round picks. So we're going to force this trade through. And the Buffalo Bills are moving up to select Trent McDuffie. Getting a true corner too, it's pretty solid. He is undersized. I don't think that that is going to be out of the question. Again, you might ask, why does Buffalo need to move up? It's not because they need to exactly move up in front of the Cowboys. It's because the Cardinals are looking to move back. And of course, the Cowboys are going to be selecting offensive guard Kenyon Green here. He's literally spent over a full day with them. But I do think this team is definitely on the lookout for somebody like Devante Wyatt or else Andrew Booth. The question is, which one do you want? And for me, it's really pick your poison. But I'm actually going to go Andrew Booth here. You guys did sign Jeff Gladney, but again, it's Jeff Gladney. So I'll just put that out there. I think Andrew Booth would be a good fit in this scheme. And you got an extra pick this draft. Number 26 with the Titans. So for me, this team also is looking for offensive line, which is why it was a really good get by, it's a weird position to be in. I was like thinking about them potentially moving up in front of the Cowboys. There's just no one here except maybe Tyler Smith, who I think would be a really good option at this point. But like, honestly, I don't know. Like, this is a weird spot because when you look at the entire board, there's nobody that's really eye-popping except maybe Devante Wyatt. And who could use them? Potentially the Bengals. Honestly, that's a pretty damn good move. The Bengals and the Chiefs, or not, well, I guess Bengals and Chiefs definitely are rivals right now, but the Bengals certainly could have a little bit of a rivalry with the Titans here. At the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm like, damn, honestly, if you pay the right price, it should not be a bad thing. So the Bears are trying to move up right now. That'd be intriguing. And Washington Commanders, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be moving up with the Cincinnati Bengals here. And again, that point differential is going to be close to, I think it's about 50-point drop per pick right now. And that's a 250. So that's going to be probably equivalent to a 4th rounder, which, if I'm not mistaken, is pretty damn accurate. But hell, we'll toss in a next year 6th. I see that 2023, the Titans don't have a 6th. So voila, we trade that. And we are moving up to draft Devante Wyatt. So you guys end up losing out on Ogunjobi. Not losing out, but you guys didn't re-sign him. So getting Devante Wyatt would be a really damn good get for this team in a very weak interior defensive line class. I do like it a lot. Travis Jones is certainly a dude who I would like as well. But at least at 26, you have the choice. And of course, for this pick, I am going to be still sticking to the defensive interior, going Travis Jones out of UConn. I do think that his athleticism is checked out, and that was my big concern with him when watching his tape. All of a sudden, he became in shape for the offseason, looked great at the Senior Bowl, looked great at the Combine. 28, this is going to be a wide receiver 100%. And the question is, who do you get? Christian Watson fits them so well, and it's like, I hate to say it, but that's probably going to be the pick. Jahan Dotson, to me, needs to be the pick, though. You look at it, you still have Alan Lazard on the roster. Jahan's my number 3 wide receiver, so we're going to take him. Him at 28 is just ridiculous value. Number 29 for the Philadelphia Eagles. So this might just be David Ojabo. And I know a lot of people don't like that pick at all, but it certainly is one that I want to consider. Linebacker, I know people hate this pick as well. Really confuses me, but I mean, Leo Chanel seems to be like a perfect fit for this team. I do think Nakobe Dean's scheme specificity might be a little bit of an issue for a lot of guys or a lot of teams as well. And I think if a team wants him, they should probably be moving up to pick 29 to be able to select him because one, I don't think the Chiefs are going to give an option for the Titans to steal anybody. And I do know that this pick 32 should be probably taken by a quarterbacked team. So I'm actually going to be looking for another trade option here because I do think a linebacker like Nakobe Dean would be a great option. And I'm looking here at the Jets, and I'm saying, ooh, because that is a really good option to make sure that it also stays like Nakobe Dean stays out of the NFC. So we're actually going to be moving up here with the New York Jets. Yeah, making sure that the Giants can't snag them either. So we're going to be offering. I think the pick value difference here is closer to 200 or 300. And I think that we can want to continue getting future draft capital. So we're going to offer for a future 4 and maybe 163. I don't know why that's such a big differential. We could ask for like maybe a next year. We won't ask for next year 3rd. We'll go 117. It says likely to be accepted. That is really weird to me. Point value wise, that's very damn close to the same. Regardless, the Eagles move back. If you guys want it to be a different trade value, it's not going to be affecting this draft anyways. So you guys can put your thoughts down there. This is going to be Nakobe Dean. You're going to be getting another super elite weapon, pairing him up with Travon Walker. Sign me up for that. Kansas City's on the board, and we already went wide receiver with Treylon Burks. Does not mean we can't do it again, but I do think edge is a position we could target as well as cornerback. So I actually want to flip it back to pure corner. Jalen Pitre is not one of those, but honestly, Daxton Hill could be playing a lot of man coverage. He is a safety, I know, but I do think that his value is best suited on the Chiefs where they can actually put him in man-to-man situations. The Titans are on the board, and offensive line still should be in this position. I am going to be going after one of my favorite prospects in this draft, and that is going to be Tyler Smith. We're seeing the tackles fall out around 1, which is a little bit weird because I do think Trevor Penning might go here. But again, we saw Tevin Jenkins fall out last year. This pick right here is going to be traded back to the Steelers, though. So not Eagles, Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, they're going to be giving very minute compensation to move up here, though. Like literally, very intriguing. But I mean, it's so minute. Like, what do you guys want? We'll put 138 in here. How about that? Steelers don't need it that badly. It's accepted. Steelers move 1 spot to select Sam Howell out of North Carolina. Yeah, you guys might be like, what the hell? But that's the way that's the way the draft fell. And you know what? I think the Steelers drafting Sam Howell is not a bad decision at all. And they also picked up some extra picks. You can use those to move up. So pick 33 with the Lions on the clock. I still think linebacker is a position that we should target for them. Safety is as well. Lewis Cine is on the board. You draft Lewis Cine. And at this spot, we could also draft a wide receiver like Sky Moore to be able to offer a good second weapon. But I do think he plays primarily in the slot. George Pickens would be a fun one as well. Pair him up with DJ Shark. I also think that you can get someone like Calvin Austin later on to be one of those boundary gadget weapons. So you could definitely look to trade back again, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. Leo Chanel here might be the dude who I go after. Revamping this defense is probably what you're going to need to do for the future. Dude's going to be a day 1 impact on your roster, also pretty damn close to Michigan, Wisconsin. And he has so much energy. His measurables are off the charts. Big fan of him overall. The Eagles are sitting here, and, well, we traded back, got a shit ton of draft capital, and got David Ojabo. Thumbs up from me. At this pick, this is going to be Boye Mafe, though. I mean, we already got our offensive tackle. We could try to trade back, but Boye Mafe should be coming off the board around this point, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Trevor Penning is on the board, and we also have the Jets here, so I'm actually going to have a team trade up for Trevor Penning. That team is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, the Seattle Seahawks are going to be giving up minor compensation to be able to move up this far. I think 109 should be about acceptable for that range. So we do that, and they're going to be moving up actually for Trevor Penning, who's going to be a nasty mauler in the run game for them. just continuing to boost their roster overall. And the Jets are back on the board. I think Bernhard Raimann might be an excellent get at this point. So getting Bernhard Raimann is a big plus. The Chicago Bears are on the board, but I think that a certain team should be trying to move up to fill one of its last positions of need. That's the Steelers trying to get Jaquan Brisker here. You can go after like Nick Cross or Kirby Joseph, but I'm really not a big fan of it. Let's see if the Steelers are on the board, are like available to trade up here. They say they are not, but I don't really care. So we're going to be trading back a good margin, but we of course have to pay for that. We're going to be offering a 3rd round pick as well as our 4th that we acquired from Jacksonville next year. A very hefty trade indeed. But again, you use those picks to get the 2 guys that you wanted, right? So I don't think tackle is as much of a need as people say it is. Jaquan Brisker, safety still could be. I was thinking about maybe moving to the end of the 1st to get Jaquan Brisker. Number 40 with the Texans on the board. I think wide receiver. I love how it says every position. Sky Moore is going to be the dude who gets drafted here. Definitely a really good weapon for you guys to use, especially when you consider that you might be losing your number 1 target. So number 41 with the Seahawks. So we're still back on the board, guys, and I still think quarterback could be something they go after. Desmond Ridder, good option. Matt Corral, going to be taking the higher upside option. Could also look at linebacker. I don't really think that's exactly where they're going to be trying to target in the meantime, even though I love my boy Brian Asamoah. Yeah, I can't really see these dudes being the guy who I take at the moment, even though I do sometimes. But we're going to go Matt Corral here. I think that that's a good option for them. It gives them a future potential, and he's staying on the West Coast. If you guys don't know, Matt Corral was born in Ventura County, went to Oaks Christian as well as Poly, and then, of course, was supposed to be a USC quarterback, and we're not going to get into that because legally not allowed to. But number 42 for the Colts. DB is the biggest thing that you need to go after, and you do run a zone scheme. Kyler Gordon has a lot of hype to him, very explosive, and you need to make sure that you maximize your potential with him. Number 43 for the Falcons. We already went wide receiver once with J-Mo. I still think getting Desmond Ridder or Kenny Pickett is going to be the best option for you. Again, Kenny Pickett, I have a weird feeling he's going to be falling. Everybody says he should be a round 1 lock. I don't think so. Matt Corral might even go before him because, again, you're going to be sitting him. So this team could actually use him day 1. Not many teams that are that much in the mood for that. Number 44 for the Browns. I think that going interior defensive line wouldn't be a bad option. If you had maybe someone else, Perry on Winfrey would be fun, but I'm actually not that big of a fan of that. When you got guys like George Pickens on the board, you might just want to try to get an alpha dog in the room. Christian Watson's fun too, but we're going to go George Pickens here. Again, he had some injury concerns. If people are trying to drop other dudes for that, you got to kind of make it even Steven in that case. For the Ravens, though, we went with an edge rusher and George Karlaftis. You could go after a DB here for sure. I just don't think the value is very good except for Tariq Woolen. I can see the Bears trying to move back up in this situation to secure one of their dudes. And again, want to make sure, because this draft board is way different than my own, because that's honestly how Kenny Pickett fell as far as he did. I'm just going to be straight up honest. He shouldn't have. But Christian Watson's here. And I know that a team like the Bears or even the Niners could be trying to get in a position to get there. So I'm actually going to be trading up with the Chicago Bears. They're going to use their pick 58. And again, they actually don't have that many picks anymore, which is surprising. So usually I had to do a ton of picks for them. I think that a pick 148, as well as maybe a next year 5th. This is going to be a next year 4th. We're going to do this one. They're going to be sending that through, gets accepted, and the Bears are moving up to be able to select Christian Watson out of North Dakota State, offering a now brand new 6'5" deep threat for their quarterback, Justin Fields. Number 46, we got the Vikings on the board. And I think Brian Asamoah could be a really fun option for them. Actually pretty damn good in pass rush as well. When you lose Anthony Barr, replacing him might be something that you can do. Jordan Hicks got brought onto the team. I'm honestly not that big of a fan of Jordan Hicks. I don't think that even on a team that can't really maintain its linebackers, if he can't stay there, I don't think he belongs up in the NFC North. Brian Asamoah is my linebacker too. It's a weird position to target for sure, but I do think that it's not a bad option at all. Number 47, you got the Washington Commanders on the board. And I love how it still says quarterback is a need because linebacker is as well. A Mike linebacker certainly is something that I would want to target for this team. I just don't think that like linebackers have been not good enough for this roster. We already drafted a wide receiver. The corners are not good enough. You could go Jalen Pitre for a deep safety, but I think Chad Muma's overall impact might be pretty damn solid. Again, when you look into the future as well, next year's safety class is going to be ridiculous. Number 48, we got the Baltimore Ravens back on the clock, and we're going to draft the dude who I think should have went here in the first place. His name's Perrion Winfrey. Dude just has some unbelievable reps. You can add him to that pass rush on the inside. Him, Michael Pierce would be a very nice 1-2 punch. Saints on the clock. I don't think that they get the guy that they were hoping for in Honey Badger, because I still think he's asking for way too much money. I think that this could be a good spot to go Jalen Pitre, but I do know wide receiver still is a large position of need. Alec Pierce is just he's a baller, dude. He's my number 5 wide receiver in the draft, and it's not by a close margin at all. He's actually pretty big on that big margin right there as my true wide receiver 5. Do love Alec Pierce to death. Number 50 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Jalen Pitre would have been fun here if we did not take Dax Hill before, but I do think an edge rusher like Arnold Ebiketie would not be a bad choice at all because I love Arnold Ebiketie with a passion. At this spot, the Eagles need a safety. Jalen Pitre could be certainly that. Linebacker, who do we go for with the Eagles earlier? So we went David Ojabo as well as Jordan Davis. So Howie might want to say fuck you and go after an offensive position here. You could go after, man, it's actually not very good for the offensive or for the wide receiver realm at least, but you could try to go after some form of offensive line. I'm not on board with that. So we're going to go Jalen Pitre here out of Baylor. I just think that he'd be much better as a zone hawking defensive back on your squad than anything else. And you could even use him as corner. So get an A+ from me. And number 52, the Bears are on the board. Offensive line is still a concern for me. I just don't think anybody's good enough. Honestly, I don't. And I think that the edge rushers in this class would actually be able to replace the void that is there currently. Myjai Sanders, Sam Williams, 2 dudes who I would love to be sticking into this roster. We went up for a wide receiver already too. It's a weird spot. I think Myjai Sanders is getting underrated. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. He's a really damn good edge rusher. He graded out as one of my top ones. So we'll do it. Number 53 for the Green Bay Packers. I actually think that defensive interior would be a position I could target. I saw it, and it's honestly not as good as I wanted it to be. But we went offensive line. We went wide receiver once. Wide receiver, again, is not off the table. But with tight end, you might as well go Trey McBride. Number 54, we got the Patriots on the clock. And for them, we've already went after a linebacker, not a corner. So I still think corner is a position to be able to address here. Martin Emerson provides a lot of upside here. Zion McCollum, it's a weird, sneaky dude for them to try to draft in this range. I would hope they would not. So we're actually going to give them we actually might give them a receiving weapon with Jalen Tolbert. But again, that might continue their mid-receiving core. Everybody loves to use that phrase nowadays. So for me, I mean, guard, again, you could be looking at one of these dudes. I just wouldn't. We're going to go corner. We are. Roger McCreary's on the board. I do think that after the productive season he had, and again, so what? He has short arms. He still was able to do some pretty good work with it. Definitely worth it at that point. For the Cards, we went after a defensive interior earlier, if I'm not mistaken. We did not. We went after Andrew Booth. Defensive interior is still on the board for me, but I'm actually going to go on the other side. We're going to go Nick Benito, who just offers so much as a pass rusher. Elite athlete with elite production. Sign me up for that. Cowboys went offensive line, though. I do know that one. There you go. I think that they could be looking for a defensive back at this point, like Nick Cross, to develop. It's a weird spot for sure. Edge rusher, I think, might be the position I do go, though. I don't think that'd be a bad idea. DeMarvin Leal, I would hope to God he becomes a pure edge, but I just don't think he will. Drake Jackson, certainly somebody who could be a heavily developmental dude on this roster, but we're going to go Sam Williams. I do think he's a very sneaky second to first round dude. So that's where I'm going to be rocking with him. Des Ritter's still on the board, and the team definitely needs to move up for him if it's not going to be at the next pick. So, I mean, I do like Desmond Ridder. There's no hatred towards Des at all. It's just the way the draft fell. The more, I mean, players are going to fall, guys. They are. I don't know why people think that's the craziest thing in the world, but you do you. I think that running back is going to be the pick here. I think it is. Breece Hall just makes too much sense. I love Breece to death, and he's going to be locked in. At this pick, this is going to be Desi. Oh, wait, no, we actually went Kenny Pickett. We did, didn't we? Caught myself right there. We went Kenny Pickett before. That means that we are going to get an edge rusher with Drake Jackson at this pick. 59 with the Packers. I think actually this is a good time for a team to trade up for Desmond Ridder. This is a good time. Let's see who's actually on, who could be trading up for a QB. The Giants, I don't vibe with that. But there's just not many teams that need a quarterback, guys. Realistically, I just don't see it. The Colts, they could. You know, if Desmond Ridder's on the board, it does offer that extra oomph for sure. And the Saints haven't gotten a quarterback either, though, have they? Have they gotten a QB? I'm bugging. They did not. So we're actually going to trade with the Saints here. Where are they at? I hate this so much. I'm probably never going to use this simulator again. Like, the more I look at it, I'm like, I'm just bugging. And you guys are like saying, like, Alex, it's right there in front of your face. I know that. That's the thing. There we go. There's the New Orleans Saints. So for the Packers, we're going to be asking a next year, maybe like a next year third, as well as this one. And we're going to be offering, this team doesn't have many holes. That's the thing. So we're going to be offering probably the next two picks to be able to come up for this one. Again, it's a weird spot. It is. So we're going to be just trying to leverage as much as we can. Around 3-4, we're going to just have this happen. We're going to do it. Somehow it was not accepted. The 5% chance it wasn't accepted happened. And we're going to be moving up for Desmond Ridder here. Number 60 on the clock is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And a defensive interior, I think we actually already went one. Yes, we did. We went with Travis Jones. So offensive line probably is the next position to target. Dylan Parham could be a flexible center/guard. Not that high on my board, but at the same time, you know, I do think that he has had a pretty damn solid ascension. For the Niners, I think edge rusher is a position you could certainly target. So getting someone like Kingsley Enagbare would be a very good get at this point. Number 62, you got the Chiefs, and the Chiefs could be using a right tackle. That is going to be Abraham Lucas. Yeah, you're investing in that for the long run. Bengals fans, I think actually a corner would not be a bad idea. You guys just brought in Alontae Taylor, but we're going to go Martin Emerson here, who I think is actually a really good get. Draft him, please. Okay. So drafted Martin Emerson. We're good. It's just being a pain in the ass right at the moment. But at least, wow, there we go. It completed. We got to love that. For the last pick, we are not going to be drafting whatever the hell is said for the other one, which that is super annoying. Bottom line, I'm going to draft a linebacker for that last pick for the Denver Broncos, since you can't have a right tackle on the board with Abe Lucas anymore. I think that you could probably be looking more in the realm of Christian Harris territory, but I really do like how Anderson, like the kid out of Montana State, I think that he would be a really good get at this point. Don't know why the hell it probably just put another corner here. I put Kenneth Walker to end off the draft. That doesn't make sense, but I do like Kenny Walker. That right there is going to be a linebacker pick. It's probably going to be Troy Anderson out of Montana State. Just an absolute beast. So that's going to be the video, guys. Not going to use this mock draft simulator ever again, but let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the far side. Peace.